It's never easy to say goodbye to a fantastic athlete. When that guy is one of the top all-around wide receivers in today's pass-happy NFL, the disadvantage is often unrivaled. The Packers coach Matt LaFleur has opened up about how trading wide receiver Davante Adams tough for him personally. Let's dive into today's video. Firstly, opening up during Tom Pelissero interview. On Sunday, during an interview with NFL Network's Tom Pelissero at the annual league meeting, Packers head coach Matt LaFleur discussed the team's trade of star wideout Davante Adams to the Raiders. LaFleur explained that sometimes you have to make difficult decisions. They are grateful for what Davante has given to their team, noting that Davante is the finest receiver in the National Football League, making the decision all the more difficult for him and their company. When asked if there had been any conversations about attempting to persuade Adams not to go, LaFleur replied that there wasn't much to talk about, if he was being honest, because they were in the middle of a contract negotiation, and it was clearly one of those instances where, as he had previously mentioned, a lot of difficult decisions had to be made. Next, Adams departs with a thank you note. The move to Las Vegas happened after Adams notified the Packers that he would not play under the franchise tag, which the Packers slapped on the All-Pro wideout at the 11th hour of the March 8th deadline. When Adams arrived in Oakland, he signed a 5-year, $141.25 million contract with the Raiders. Adams, a second-round draft selection by Green Bay in 2014, is a Green Bay legend after 8 seasons with the team, ranking second all-time in catches, 669, and touchdown receptions, 73, and fourth in receiving yards, 8,121. Adams said in his departure letter to the Packers organization that he can't thank them enough for recognizing something special in him that no one else did. He then referenced a phone conversation in 2014, which is one of the most memorable moments in his life, and how he vowed to himself in the time that he would do everything he can to thank them for taking a chance with him. In a heartfelt ending, he noted how they've accomplished a lot together, and even when things got tough, he knew they always had his back, and continued to have faith in him throughout their time together, and that is something he will be eternally thankful for. Now we have LaFleur's heartbreaking response. LaFleur, who was hopeful to keep Adams ahead of free agency, reaffirmed that stance on Sunday. He said that he believes Tay and him have a terrific relationship, and there is a tremendous deal of mutual respect. LaFleur's sadness about the trade becomes even more obvious when he continues to talk about how Adams is a man who will be difficult to replace, and you never want to lose great guys like him. But unfortunately, in the National Football League, there's a thing called the salary cap, and because they have to stay below it and take everything else into account while making such decisions, they had to let Adams go. Next, the trade was also hard on Aaron Rodgers and the team. Replacing Adams will not be simple, if at all feasible. Adams, a first-team All-Pro the previous 2 seasons, is coming off a season in which he set a career high with 123 catches for 1,553 yards, 11 touchdowns. Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers, who earned his second straight MVP award in 2021, relied largely on Adams executing precise routes, anticipating back shoulder passes, creating space on broken plays, and being sure-handed, especially in high-pressure situations. LaFleur said of Rodgers' reaction to the deal that, like any great quarterback or quarterback in general, he'd want to have as many assets around him as possible. There will undoubtedly be opportunities since they're still in free agency and have the draft coming up. Between now and the start of the season, there's a lot of movement in his opinion. LaFleur went on to say they're going to have to add some parts to that room, and they'll have to build their offense around what they've got. They can't keep looking back, they have to keep moving forward. Green Bay is no stranger to stressful off seasons. Last year was no different, with Aaron Rodgers' comeback in doubt for the entirety of the game. The 2022 offseason has been another whirlwind for LaFleur and the Packers organization. However, last season's offseason controversy did not prevent Green Bay from winning 13 games for the 3rd consecutive season, nor did it prevent them from winning the division for the 3rd consecutive year. Green Bay is the favorite in the NFC North as long as 12 is at the helm, but while the NFL's business realities help to moderate league parity, offseason controversy remains. When asked if he ever fantasizes about having a typical peaceful offseason, Packers coach Mike McCarthy seems to take it all in stride every night. LaFleur said with a smile, "But I know that's not the reality of our league." Everyone in the Packers organization, it appears, was aware that Davante Adams desired to leave the team for a time. The deal seemed to surprise the majority of the general public, since it was kept relatively quiet. In this league, though, it's the nature of the beast. Many private talks take place that are never made public. Now, in other NFL news, modification to overtime rules. The NFL has listened to your concerns and has made changes in the postseason. The NFL announced on Tuesday that the league's owners adopted a modification to overtime rules that would ensure that both teams get a possession in overtime. NFL Network later, Ian Rappaport stated that the rule change was approved by a vote of 29-3. This rule change will only apply to the postseason when the advantage has been statistically skewed toward the team winning the overtime coin toss. They are 10-2 in such games since the previous OT format began in 2010, then the regular season. Up next, the Buccaneers will not play a certain game in Germany. According to Chief Operating Officer Brian Ford, the Buccaneers will not face an NFC opponent in their 2022 regular season game in Munich, Germany. For the first time since COVID disrupted in-person meetings, the NFL annual meetings are taking place as usual in Palm Beach, Florida. Every year, representatives from each club club, principally general managers and head coaches, as well as credentialed journalists, gather to debate and vote on agenda themes for the forthcoming season. The Buccaneers head coach was not present due to personal issues. GM Jason Licht and Chief Operating Officer Brian Ford, on the other hand, are in attendance and available for interviews. This next season, the Bucs will play one of their home games in Munich, Germany. Ford provided some insight into who the Buccaneers' opponent will not be when speaking at the NFL annual meeting on Monday. In the 2022 season, the Buccaneers will keep the Green Bay game local, allowed fans to see two of the greatest quarterbacks of all time head-to-head in a primetime duel. Based on the Bucs' past home games, it's safe to assume that it won't be an NFC South divisional game played in Germany either. Next, Doug Peterson provides some insight on the Jaguars. Most estimates that the Jacksonville Jaguars taking the #1 overall choice on an offensive lineup weeks before free agency. The Jaguars then placed the franchise tag on left tackle Cam Robinson, signed guard Brandon Scherf to a larger contract, and re-signed center Tyler Shatley. When you combine the O-line selections with Jacksonville's failure to sign any edge rush quality while spending a ton of guaranteed money, the presumption shifts. The Jaguars are largely expected to utilize the first overall choice on a pass rusher, most notably Michigan's Aiden Hutchinson. Speaking from the NFL's annual meeting in Palm Beach, Florida on Monday, new Jaguars coach Doug Peterson hinted that the team's decision to franchise tag Robinson for the second year in a row doesn't necessarily rule out picking an offensive lineman with the #1 selection. Lastly, NFL introduces new diversity guidelines. As part of the league's new diversity guidelines, NFL teams are required to hire a diverse individual as an offensive assistant coach. The Rooney Rule will also be extended to cover female candidates as part of the new measures. People of color will account for 39% of all coaching roles in 2021, up from 35% in 2020, according to the NFL. It did, however, state that the possibilities for minority candidates in head coach and offensive coordinator positions are disappointing. The Rooney Rule was implemented in 2003 to guarantee that at least one Black, Asian, or minority ethnic (BAME) applicant gets interviewed for each head coach or general manager job. The new guidelines, which indicate that the coach can be a female or a member of an ethnic group or racial minority, will be adopted beginning with the start of the 2022 season in September as part of NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell's effort to create a more inclusive league. Although around 70% of the league's players are Black, the majority of the league's head coaches are very white. Former Miami Dolphins head coach Brian Flores filed a lawsuit last month accusing the NFL and its 32 teams of racial discrimination in hiring procedures. Michael McDaniel of the Miami Dolphins and Lovie Smith of the Houston Texans were the only candidates who qualified as diverse among the 8 head coaching vacancies to be filled this year. That's a wrap for this video. How do you feel about Davante Adams' departure? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you in the next one!